A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see that?
Yes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
It's time for that.
It's time.
Part of the show.
It's time. Listen, you gotta. Everyone degens. I was degenerating at fucking 7 years old, so it's not too late to start.
I really am looking forward to a fan telling us that their kid has been listening to us. Like, because I remember growing up listening to AM radio and being like, man, I want to be that one day. So, if you have your kids in the car while you're listening to the show, tell me. That will make me very happy.
Oh my god! Imagine they cook up a parlay that they heard from the show.
And they're like 12. Bro, they're crushing prize picks at their school. Like they're the coolest kid on campus.
They're doing subathons and anytime touchdown parlays.
Let
Where'd
me
you
put
hear
you
this
guys
from?
on to subathons, all right?
Veterans minimum, baby.
like
The
you're
number one sports betting vibe on the
On
planet.
the planet.
You guys know what it is. Nick Dais here at Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. My guy to my left, top 3 bald guys on the planet, in my opinion. We're going to have to update that graphic. It's not top 5, it's top 3.
I like
George
it.
Carmona.
I like it. We're moving up the power rankings.
Oh, yeah, man.
Bald people are falling off the top.
Yeah.
I can't think of like a bald person that's died recently that would make that make sense.
Whoa. Right, you get dark right away.
No, I'm just saying for
Death
the
immediately,
top to
death?
fall, bro. Like for me to move up the power rankings, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
People got to go.
Listen, you know I love you, but Stone Cold's still my number one top bald guy.
That's a good top bald guy.
Yeah.
Rock, 2.
Rock, yeah. I was more of an Austin guy. Dude, Stone Cold has stunned the president. All right. So, like, the GOAT debate is over. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right. There's a photo of Donald Trump with the whole McMahon family at the White House.
That's
like,
hilarious.
He stunned everyone in this photo.
That's insane.
Your GOAT could never, is what I'm getting at. All right. And that's the politics portion of this episode. George.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. We just had a dinner at, I wish I would have asked how it's pronounced. Is it
I think it's called
Le
Le Cave, yeah.
Le Cave?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm literally staring at the hostess that seated us right now. Amazing restaurant at the Wynn, top-notch property. I've been saying it. I will continue to say it. Some of the best restaurants, the service, and studio. I mean, I'm doing great right now.
Hell yeah.
And Havana Nights was the drink of choice for tonight, and I'm Cuban.
Whoa.
Como se dice? We're having a good time tonight.
Está bien.
Sí, muy bien.
Yeah. Let's go. That Rosetta Stone, Isaiah, I'm getting ready for Colombia.
He's on level 4
You know
now.
what I'm saying? I'm out here, bro. Dinner was brought to you by Ross's boss. Thank you once again, Ross.
Thank you,
Thank
Ross.
you very much for the dinner. Like we've said in the past, all gifts are welcome when you're a guest of the show. We've had Katie come on. We've had Mozzie come on. We've had all these people come on, and they bring gifts. A lot of it is alcohol.
Yeah.
It's because we're pieces of shit, and we do like the booze. Like we said, shout out to Havana Nights.
See?
But if you show up with money,
I mean, that's just
that's
the greatest.
like, we're not going to say no to that. And that's now the preferred. That's what the standard is. So future guests of VM,
Bro,
correct to the show.
yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine if we had Mozzie on after Ross?
Oof.
And then he made $1 million bet that he
Yeah.
won? Like, Mozzie, come on now. Treat the show.
Fuck yeah.
Treat the show.
Yeah. Shout out to all the guests. Shout out
Yes.
to all the fans. Like we said, you guys are the best endorsement of the show. Rate, review, subscribe. Follow us wherever you consume your content. TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat soon, Twitter, LinkedIn. If we want to get corporate and professional, you know what I'm saying? Like
You want to get
everywhere.
ESPN on these motherfuckers?
It goes a long way, and like I've always said, the best endorsement is you guys. So thank you for the continued support. Shout out to all the members of the Patreon, patreon.com/veteransminimum. If you are a Patreon member, you're probably feeling good about your MVP ticket. All right?
Yeah.
Feeling good about Josh Allen plus 900. Currently the favorite to win MVP. And that brings us to our first segment, George.
Mm.
I want to do midseason awards.
All right.
I can't believe we're at week 10 already.
Isn't it insane?
It is
Like,
madness.
what's happened to the football season,
It's
bro?
fucking, you wait so long for it to get here. and then before you know, you look up, you're like, holy shit, it's week. Like I feel like we just did the quarter season recap yesterday.
Yeah, with all the travel for me too, like it's the fact that we're in November, couple of weeks, we get some turkey in our bellies, and then it's really like the best part of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say this could be the quarterway, because when you think about playoffs added into it, you know.
Yeah, you get another month
of some of our favorite bets. I mean, we're our sharpest when it comes to playoff football and playoff anything, really.
Oh man, I love
we made a lot of money these past.
You know what I think about sometimes, bro? Like I'm a pretty disciplined person, but if I only bet NBA futures, NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs, soccer futures,
you would be stupid.
I'd be up like 9,000 units, bro.
I was about to say that.
Dude, because when you bet futures, you get plus 1,200. You basically get a parlay.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a long-term investment. That's why a lot of people that are in economics and finance, a lot of those Wall Street guys will transition into the daily fantasy of the sports betting. They use their analytics and their charts, Excel sheets, all that shit. There's a lot of parallels between the two. But, I mean, how do you not bet week to week, though? You know what I'm saying,
It's been, Nick, no exaggeration. I've put $100 into my sports betting account this year after doing the contest, which was $500 up front with Cameron. Like, it has been so weird for me to be giving out all these picks weekly. Now I'm middle of the road. I know it. But this is the first week, Nick, because I've hit that halfway point where I will be putting in all 5 of these plays. So I'm back to the week to week. I've been missing it. I watch you. I see you post on fucking IG. Won 1,600. Got crushed the next day. You know, like, I want to have those swings. My only swing is legitimately I'm going to win 10K if I go on a heater for 3 weeks, which is pretty nice.
You know, was it last year? No, 2 years ago, when I first moved to Vegas, I did one of the contests out here. And it was around this time where I got hot. I went on like a 21 3-1 run. Ooh. And you leapfrog a bunch of. You're in a contest. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
And what happened was I put myself in position to win the 100K, and then I started hedging against my bets. So, like around week 13, week 14, I know we're only at week 10, and we'll get into our segment now, but it's really important how you can hedge your way out. You're not cashing out, but there's ways you can hedge out. Where that's why I like futures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Derrick Henry wasn't such a big favorite for Offensive Player of the Year, maybe I would hedge it, because I really think it's a 2-man race for that. We'll get to that in just a second. But, I give my 5 picks, and the one that I'm like confident in, I wouldn't bet against it. And I was doing pretty well on that one. But the other ones I would bet against. So when I was going 2 and 3, it would kill me in the contest, but I was making some money.
Your profits on the back end.
And then I think around like week 17, I was like top 25.
Jesus.
So there I'm like, okay, if I go 0 and 5, it's going to kill me in the contest, but I just hit a parlay.
Right.
So there's ways that you can hedge out. If you do get,
I like
it's kind of the same thing with Survivor, right? If you guys are still alive in your Survivor, by the way, if you guys are alive in your Survivor and you want our help, first of all, you probably wouldn't need our help if you made this.
If you're at week 10 in Survivor,
if you're at week 10, yeah, actually, we'll take that one back. But if you do want our expertise, let us know what teams you've picked. Let us know. Like, shout out to my buddy Jason. He hit me up recently. He was like, yo, there's like 9 of us left. And he's in one of those Survivors where he has a bye week still. So you could always use that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an example where if it's like, hey, there's 4 people left, maybe you could hedge against your bet. And, you're probably going to take a 9-point favorite. You money line the other team plus 300. There's ways. That's why there's ways that you can make money on these props and futures later down the road. Speaking of props and futures, halfway through the year,
award time.
Who is your? Let's go to the main event, bro. Who's the MVP halfway through the year, George, in your opinion?
It's got to be Lamar Jackson. At plus 280 right now, you could get him, ladies and gentlemen. He is on the best run he's ever been on in his entire career. He's on pace to throw for 4,500 yards, which would be close to 1,000 more yards than he had in his other MVP winning seasons. 40 touchdowns he's on pace for, and close to 1,000 rushing yards, which, by the way, he's only at 500 rushing yards right now. Imagine if he didn't have Derrick Henry and they were playing teams where he needed to run the ball. This man would already be at the 750 mark in my head. Nick, they got 3 primetime games left. Cincy tomorrow night is going to be huge because he really doesn't have any sort of prestigious big-time primetime matchups with anybody else until Houston on Christmas Day, which I know there's other teams playing on Christmas, but I consider all Christmas Day games primetime. Everybody will be glued to the TV watching it. It's got to be Lamar Jackson. If he's won the award twice before with worse numbers, and they are on pace to be the 1 seed in the AFC, like, I mean, if the Chiefs obviously have to fall off a little bit, but I just don't see how it can't be Lamar. He's got too many good things going for him, and I don't think voter fatigue will play a factor in it. Until we get to Offensive Player of the Year, I will save my voter fatigue for that point.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Are you someone that buys into that conversation in any sport where voter fatigue?
Yeah, because it's the same. For us to have bought into it means that it has happened. You know, like, you can't tell me that there was years that Jordan didn't deserve it or LeBron didn't deserve it. And I think NBA is the easiest one to see it. Football, you don't necessarily see voter fatigue that much, but Lamar's kind of, I think if Lamar wins this one, imagine if Lamar the following year throws for 5,000 yards, rushes for 1,500 yards, has way better numbers than these past 3 seasons. Do you give it to him again? That's where voter fatigue will come in. Because it's that steady progress. You know, like when LeBron was winning the awards, it was steady progress. The numbers continue to improve even when you thought it was impossible for it to improve. So do you believe that voter fatigue is a real thing?
It's a real thing. I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it either.
Say I won MVP and I won 11 games the year I won MVP and I threw for 4,000 yards and I threw 27 touchdowns. The very next year, I won 14 games. I threw for 50 touchdowns. And I had 4,700 yards. I can't win MVP because I won it the year before. I had a better season.
Right.
So, like, I think it's one of the dumbest conversations. I think it's wrong. Like, if you were the best player that year, you're MVP. Jokic and Embiid. A couple years ago, Embiid wins it. Jokic was better.
Yeah.
The numbers speak for itself. But Jokic had just won it. Do you give it to him again? And then Jokic goes on to win it back to back. So, like, it's weird. It is a real thing. Voter fatigue is a real thing, but I don't agree with it. I think it's one of the dumber conversations that we have.
Yeah. And I like I'm saying, we see it in the NBA and the NFL. It'll be an interesting thing to keep your eye out for because here's the thing, like Lamar's not going to get any worse. Like the one aspect of his game that he needed to improve on from his rookie year till now, when you look back at the first year that he won the MVP and those numbers compared to like where he's at now, like halfway through the season, he has done what he did in that first MVP year, at least throwing wise, way ahead of schedule as far as that's concerned. Now, the team has to play good, and they are. Now, I was going to bring up this point for the Offensive Player of the Year, but I'm going to bring it up now. Nick, did you know that there has never been a NFL season in which the NFL MVP and the Offensive Player of the Year were on the same team? It has never happened. Ever. So what I'm thinking, it's certainly not going to fucking happen now. And both of those players are at the front of both of those categories. So pick one. It's not going to be both.
That's a very interesting tidbit because you're right. Derrick Henry is the odds-on favorite for Offensive Player of the Year right now. And, you know, he's 8th in MVP at 20-1. It's not going to be him, bro, because
Right.
shit, a couple years ago, he had 2,000 yards and he was nowhere near the MVP. And the Titans made the playoffs because of him. And you're like, bro, if he's not the MVP this year, if Cooper Kupp wasn't the MVP in 2021, where I still believe he was the MVP that year, from week 1 to week 18, there was not a better player in the league than Cooper Kupp then. Same thing with McCaffrey last year. I felt like McCaffrey, and maybe a little biased because we had that futures ticket on him.
Right.
Sure, but like, yo, week 1 to week 18, consistently, he was the best. He was the best player. I don't think it's going to happen. I also disagree. I don't think it's Lamar, even though Lamar is having a better season than he did last year. And I've been saying this since like week 4. I'm like, yo, this year is an MVP year. Last year wasn't.
Yep.
I thought last year should have been McCaffrey or Dak Prescott as your MVP. Can I make a case for 2?
Yeah.
I think it's Josh Allen. 17 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, which, by the way, Lamar Jackson, 20 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Both teams have the same record. I just think Josh Allen has to do more.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were to... All right, let me ask you this. Whose weapons would you rather have? Baltimore's or Buffalo's?
Baltimore.
Yeah.
All day. So your case is he's doing it with lesser talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I know Amari's there, but, you know, Amari only has like 5 passes he's caught. So it's not like he's coming in there and having a D-hop kind of impact.
Right.
I think it's Josh Allen. Am I a little biased because that's who I picked in the beginning of the season? Probably. But also the narrative coming in, that's why it was the FU year for Josh Allen. It was the same thing when Tyreek Hill left Pat Mahomes. Everyone was saying he lost his weapon. He's not going to win MVP. He goes out there and he wins MVP. That's how I felt about Stephon Diggs leaving. And even though I thought it was beneficial for both teams, because he's thrown some jabs at Stephon Diggs. Like, it's nice that I don't have people complaining about the football and I could spread the ball around to all the other guys on the field. It's like subtle shots there. I think it's Josh Allen for that reason. But I want to make the case. For Jaden Daniels.
Where's he at now? 10-1?
12-1.
12-1.
So right now, the top, I'll give you the top 6.
Got it.
Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Consensus, they're both tied. So let's just call it 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Mahomes plus 400, which, fuck, we talked about it on Monday. If you guys didn't check out that episode, that conversation, we were saying, what would he have to, like, if they go 16-1, how is he not the MVP? But his numbers are not, they're not good numbers.
Yep.
You know, he is coming off his best game of the year, completed a season high 78% completion rate. He had like 290 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, which he was throwing a pick every game. That was finally all right, this is Mahomes, right? Mahomes is there. So you have him at plus 400. Then you have Jared Goff at plus 700. We made the case to bet on him now because he has the most primetime big spot games the rest of the year. And then you have Jaden Daniels tied with Jalen Hurts. There hasn't been a rookie to win MVP since Jim Brown. And, dude, the way he's playing, and you talk about narratives, like, everyone is excited about Washington.
Yep.
They're 7-2. He's doing it through the air, through the ground. The thing that would hold it back, I think, is his numbers. Like, he only has 9 touchdown passes to 2 interceptions. He's up there in yards, but...
What's his rushing yards at right now? Is
Let me
he?
see.
Because I know he's got it in him, but I just don't know. Like, he hasn't had a holy shit. Look at what Jaden Daniels can
Yeah,
do.
he hasn't had like the 65-yard run.
Yeah, that makes everybody realize that that's in the arsenal.
So his rushing yards...
9 touchdowns is very concerning. But, Nick, there's a real case that they can win the NFC.
He has 459 yards on the ground for 4 touchdowns.
That's not too far from Lamar. Lamar's like at 505 or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he'll probably be like a 3,000, 1,000 guy with maybe he could get 7 or 8 touchdowns on the ground. I think he's having a sensational year. I do think the MVP, I'm just making the case for him.
Yeah.
I do think it's Josh Allen. And then, bro, the other guy that I can't seem to escape is Joe Burrow.
He's in every conversation, dude. His numbers are there. You look at the stats for top QBR, he's there. It's like The Bengals really let him down this year.
It's defensively, yeah. It's defensively. Like, the one thing that's interesting about Joe Burrow is only Baker Mayfield has more pass attempts than him. And he has 20 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
Crazy.
And he literally has been playing at an like if the Bengals were 7-2, Joe Burrow would be minus 300 for MVP right now.
He'd be minus 185.
The way that he's playing.
Yeah.
The way that he's playing, because look, they also have, I think all their losses are by 1 score.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if half of those go the other way. Now you're looking at, instead of 4-5, you're looking at 6-3.
Yeah.
Going into this Thursday night game, we talk about matchups like, bro, how about this? Tomorrow night or tonight, when you guys are listening to this, Bengals Ravens. Next week, Commanders Eagles. I don't think we've ever had back-to-back Thursday night football games that are going to be this good, at least on paper.
Yeah, no, those are electric matchups.
Bro, it's divisions, conferences, playoffs, the whole nine. So I think for me, it's a toss-up between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow for MVP. I don't think they'll give it to Lamar because of the voter fatigue, even though I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
He's having his best statistical year thus far, and his team is winning. But for both of these guys, and the other reason why I would lean towards Josh Allen out of the bunch is Bill's defense can make some stops.
Yeah.
So they'll win games because of it.
Very true.
That's where I think collectively the teams, it's a different conversation there. So I'm leaning towards keeping the same MVP that I had coming into the year and Joe Burrow.
Well, I hope this sparks it. You said Joe Burrow, yeah? I mean, you hope that this Thursday sparks it. And shit, imagine if him and Jamar Chase go on just like a historic run. Like 20 touchdowns just between the two of them for the remainder of the year, meaning that Joey B's throwing 5 or 6 more to other receivers. I mean, you need the moments now. Like, if you're far behind, you need the Saquon Barkley back juke to bring you back into consideration. If you're not making highlights, you're not winning awards. And I think that kind of leads us to Offensive Player of the Year, yes?
Totally.
Is
it a two-man race to you?
Yes. It's whichever running back doesn't get hurt, literally.
Yeah.
And it's going to, I mean, it's the toughest position, bro. They're getting hit 35 times a game violently, and it's got to be Derrick Henry. The situation that the Baltimore Ravens have, and especially if Lamar does not win MVP, an award will be going to somebody on that offense. Derrick Henry on pace for another 2,000-yard season. 22 touchdowns would be crazy. Like close to LT levels of this dude is glued to the end zone. And yeah, like I made that case earlier. And I'll actually ask you this question, Nick. Has it ever happened that a defensive player of the year and an MVP have been on the same team?
Trying to think.
It's a good little trivia question for the people out there. I found this one very interesting.
Can you give me, then you would give away the answer. I want to say yes.
Yes, it has happened.
Did Bob Sanders win Defensive Player of the Year?
No.
I felt like he was like amazing.
Say Bob Sanders?
Yeah, Bob Sanders. He was the Colts safety. He did win? He won it might have been him, bro. Dude, if I got this question right, holy fuck.
No.
I need an ISO and I'm taking a victory.
No,
lap.
it's not the answer, it's from your team, brother.
Really?
Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. Who else could it be?
Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah. And it happened one other time, 1994.
It happened in the same year?
Yeah. How crazy is that?
I never would have guessed.
He won Defensive Player of the Year.
Bro, okay. I would have guessed that. I thought you meant like 2 players won those 2 awards, not the same guy.
Well, because I know an anomaly.
Yeah.
There was a team in which it happened with, in 1994, the 49ers, Steve Young and Deion Sanders. Steve Young won MVP. Deion Sanders won Defense Player of the Year. But when I saw Lawrence Taylor won both, I was like, holy shit. That's insane.
Dude, Lawrence Taylor, crazy son of a bitch. Like, growing up in New York, and I know he was way before my time and when he was good, but the stories you would hear, like the impact that he would have, and then how much of a fucking psychopath he was off the field. A dude was in Any Given Sunday, and I think the role that he played in that movie was probably what he was like in real life.
Bro.
He played himself. It's like, yo,
Yes.
how do you want me to act this role? Just what you're doing. Just do what you're doing.
Just you've been method acting your whole life, kid. You don't even know it.
And bro, I've told this story so many times about how people put up with your shit if you're really talented. And it's a sad reality to people that are not talented. That's why certain people get chances. Bill Parcells at his Hall of Fame speech said, wherever you put my bus, you know, what they call the little statue, he's like, I want to be looking at Lawrence Taylor so I could keep my eye on that sucker. Because he would tell him, like, yeah, I don't know what you're doing the night before. Bus leaves at 9:30 to get to the fucking stadium. I don't care. And there's stories. I know Cameron and Mace were talking about how, like, Michael Irvin was saying this.
Get him on.
He showed up to practice with one handcuff on from, like, sexual activities. And he couldn't take, so he just showed up to the practice with a handcuff on.
What a freak.
MVP, baby.
Can you imagine that little girl that was just like handcuffing Lawrence Taylor? He was into that shit. Can you? Yeah, bro.
Wow. Psychopath. But like, yo, bro,
Handcuff me,
greatest defensive
Crazy.
player, arguably, of all time.
Yeah.
People hold him to such a standard that he changed the way teams game planned against defenses. Like, usually it'd be like, oh, our offense, we're gonna do what we want to do. Now it's like, where the fuck is number 56 at? We gotta maneuver all our shit around there. So yeah, man, I didn't know that he was the only one. I also misinterpreted that question, and I wouldn't have guessed Steve
Yeah,
Young
bro.
and
I hit you with an
Deion Sanders.
Affleck fucking trivia question. You're good.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said Affleck. I should have fuck Affleck. They don't pay us. Derrick Henry, it's got to be him. Minus 145, Nick. They are a better situation. He gets goal line carries where Saquon doesn't. We definitely knew that going into the season, but we just didn't know that Derrick Henry was going to have this profound of an impact. It looks like he took some of the best regenerative steroids in this offseason that he's ever taken. And if the amount of TikToks that I've seen of a Derrick Henry highlight and the caption is somebody piss test this man. I mean, it's legit.
Right now, he's the only running back with over 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He has 11 touchdowns, leads the NFL. Jalen Hurts has 8 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley has 6. If half of those Hurts touchdowns went to Barkley, I think we feel completely different. I do think that Barkley does more because he catches out the backfield, but on the ground, it's what he's doing. And that's why I think there's a lot of optimism around Baltimore. And you look at their Super Bowl odds, you can get them at plus 800. I think that one's really interesting. Hell, they were 30-1 after dropping the first 2 games this year. Right? And I'll be honest, man, I had them dead to rights because you lost to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like the Chiefs, I give you a pass, especially how it came down to the wire, the last play. Isaiah Likely's foot being a size 14 as opposed to a size 13 is why they lost. It was like the Durant shot with the Nets when they played the Bucks. That changes the course of history. If half those touchdowns go to Barkley, I think we feel different. I still feel good about the ticket. There's still a whole half of the season to go. I'll tell you this much, the matchups, even though Derrick Henry is kind of matchup proof, I think the matchups benefit what Barkley got. Like Barkley still has another game against the Giants, and I think this time he'll show out even more, even though he had a career night against the Giants. I think the schedule favors Barkley more, but I think it's a 2-man race, and the odds also show that. You have Derrick Henry, like you said, at minus 140, Barkley at plus 200, then you have Jefferson at plus 700, you have Jamar Chase at 16-1. There hasn't been a 2-time winner of Offensive Player of the Year. So if history continues, I feel even better about Saquon.
Right.
Derrick Henry has won it, and Justin Jefferson won it. Justin Jefferson, if you guys remember, 16-1, the boy had that. So I think it's a 2-man race. Is there anyone you want to make a case for?
No. I was gonna make a case for Justin Jefferson. Like I started analyzing his stats, and then I just realized like, bro, you guys, you're in the toughest division.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like one of the main things that I focus on for the remainder of this year. And even with the awards, dude, like you look at a guy like Jared Goff, and yeah, we were excited with all the primetime games that he's got, but it's like, look at the competition that he's got for the second half of the year. You know, that's a real factor as well, you know, and I know we're putting a lot of weight on these prime times, but we should equally we should sprinkle our eyes onto who's playing the worst fucking teams to end the year and who can stat pad their way to an award.
Dude, I
It's
remember
not gonna happen with the Vikings.
One year I won a fantasy league because I literally drafted who plays the best or most favorable week 14, 15, 16 schedule. And I was like, oh my God. Like whenever I play fantasy football, I'm always drafting for the playoffs. Because I feel like in a 12-man league, there's not 6 guys better than me. And that's all I need to beat. I need to be in that top 6, right? So I always would draft my teams. That was like a little strategy I would have. Like I'm always drafting.
That's all I'm going to be drafting for.
Yeah, dude. Like I'll look at the schedule, right? So like, for example, Dallas Cowboys awful against the run, right? This year, they're like bottom 3 in the league. Obviously, you don't know this coming in, but say around this time next year, nothing has changed for the Cowboys. I would go into that and be like, yo, damn, the Eagles play 2 of their last 3 games against the Cowboys, and it's week 15 and 17. Like, maybe I go Barkley, even though Barkley's going to be a top pick, but I'm just saying I always view it that way because it's a favorable matchup. You know, say he plays the Cowboys twice and then he plays the Giants. It's like, oh man, they suck against the run too. You know, this team is awful against the pass.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to think
that's
about
kind of some of the things that I like to do. I want to make a case for Jamar Chase. 55 catches on the year, 717 yards. Only Justin Jefferson has more yards than him. By the way, Justin Jefferson, real quick, he was my offensive player of the year through 4 weeks. And my take was Sam Darnold is an MVP candidate. That's why I'm the offensive player of the year.
It still is the case.
Yeah, it's a totally
Sam Darnold's like 25-1 if I'm not mistaken.
And Justin Jefferson, I don't think we realize how good this dude is or how productive he's been because he's missed some time in his career. And all the numbers are he's surpassed Jerry Rice and Randy Moss through week 9 of their 4th or 5th season. And you're like, yo, this guy's missed. Like last year, he missed like 7 games. Still had 1,000 yards. And I know we shitted on 1,000-yard receivers last week. Shout out to everyone with the engagement.
Oh, TikTok's been going crazy lately.
Yeah.
Excellent job.
Also on YouTube, everywhere. Like that's been a good conversation. And I know I just dumped on 1,000-yard wide receivers, but if you get 1,000 yards and you miss 8 games, that's impressive.
That's the equivalent, bro. Mark you down for 2,000.
Yeah,
brother.
you're a 2,000-yard wide receiver. You're in the criteria. So Justin Jefferson, like, just shout out to him, man. I don't think we've realized just how good this dude is. Like, I know he's the consensus #1 wide receiver, but this guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer already. The way it's projecting, and he hasn't really played with the best of quarterbacks.
Of course,
like he's making Sam Darnold an MVP fucking candidate. So I think Justin Jefferson definitely deserves his roses. His former college teammate, I think you can make a case for him having a monster year. By the way, going into a contract year, Jamar Chase shouldn't be playing. You know, we had that video that we shot with a little skit. But, yo, Cincinnati, you could have maybe had him for $35 million. You know what's going to happen in March? $42 million now. So good for Jamar. Hopefully he stays healthy so he could get his money. But I think he's the only other guy that I would probably make a case for. And he's 16-1. Thoughts?
I'm a fan of it because based on what I've seen as of recent from the Bengals, like they are the most confusing team to me. Like, why are they not just fucking setting the world on fire right now? Everybody buying stock on them. And I know I gave you shit because that's what we kept taking. Adriana was either the Jets or the Bengals. Jets or the Bengals. It was just the wrong week. This team's really good. It's still the same stuff that I've been saying for the last 2 years. Whenever you've been throwing to the same person for the last 8 years of your life, it just looks different. It feels different. The connection's there. now what they need to do is, put it on people. Like, you guys got to start beating people bad. Making a highlight play as a receiver is also it's tough. It's not as easy as running back.
No, it's not.
You're either making a one-hand catch, but like catching a post, like nobody's going to give a shit that you like crossed up the DB. They're just going to see you caught an easy post for 60 yards.
Right.
So you battle that. And if these running backs just weren't so good, think about Tyreek last year. Tyreek last year had plays in which you were like, he's the only one.
Like wide open by 20 yards.
Wide open by 20 yards, or he would catch an underneath route, do like a little shake, and then be gone.
And have only 4 yards of space to turn it up the field, and then he would,
when you look at what he was able to do, and that excited us almost to the level of giving him the MVP award. You just don't necessarily see it from Jamar Chase. That hurts him in an award-based market.
One thing about the Bengals, and this could age terribly depending on when you hear this. They were the Monday winner at 6.5. Now it's at 5.5 in some places, so I feel really good about that. To answer your question, like why aren't they smoking people? It's a tale of two seasons so far through the first half. Weeks 1 through 5, their defense, 365 yards per game, 29 points per game allowed, 1-4. Weeks 6 through 9, 206 yards per game, 20 points a game, 3-1. Now, look, I understand. They played the Giants. They played the Raiders. You're not exactly beating up juggernauts. One of the games that they lost in that stretch was to the Baltimore Ravens, who they play on Thursday night. But maybe that defense has figured it out. Maybe Joe Burrow's like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah.
Lou, sweet Lou from Staten Island. Help.
Let's draw some up.
Let's get some shit
Trey
going.
Hendrickson
Trey Hendrickson, top in the league.
Leads the league in sacks.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why, bro, I really think this Thursday night football game, I'm so excited for it. So excited. I think it could be like game of the year. I know I'm setting the bar very high, but you got playoff implications, division implications, award implications, future implications. Because I bet the Bengals at 40-1. I did. They were 12-1 coming into the year. I think they've figured out a couple things. They need Chase Brown on the field. He looks dynamic. Mike Gesicki scored a touchdown last week for the first time since like 2008. I'm exaggerating, but it's felt that long for that dude. I think Chase is a big reason for their success. I would love if they could get T. Higgins back. That'd be awesome. But this team, I think this team is, I guarantee you, bro, either the Jets or the Bengals are going to make a run. And I have futures on both of them, and I'm not saying it because I have futures on both of them. Like, they check a lot of boxes. Like, the schedule is very favorable for both of these teams. And if I wasn't as invested in both of them coming into the year, like, I have Jets futures at 20-1 from the preseason. I would buy stock on these numbers now because you see it all the time, bro. Rams last year were like 3-7. The Niners a couple of years ago, 3-4, and then they won 10 in a row. Like, there's always a team. We had that segment. Like, pick one of these teams that's like
that are going to make a deep run that we do not expect.
Boxes, man. They check the boxes. So I like the Bengals. I like the Bengals. But the initial question of offensive player of the year, I think it's a two-man race. We're getting a little cute. If you want to gamble on Chase, cool. But unless something tragic happens to one of these running backs, I think it's them too.
Did you have a defensive player of the year? Because I have one. I made a solid case for one candidate. As of right now, TJ Watt's the front runner. He's minus 175. But Kirby Joseph, of the Lions, is 16-1 right now. He's on pace for 12 interceptions. If he goes crazy, the record in the NFL is 14 by Night Lane Train. Night Train Lane? No.
Night Train Lane.
Night Train Lane.
Yeah,
Shit, bro.
yeah.
I slipped up. Too many Havana Nights. On pace for 12 INTs. He plays for a team that's going to have the lead. Teams are going to be throwing it, and he's not a corner. So you could play that middle of the field safety and get those end of the game nothing burger INTs that, Jordan Love loves to throw across the middle of the field. So That's like a sneaky person that when I saw his numbers, I'm a big fan of Kirby Joseph of the Lions.
What odds do you have for him?
He's at 16-1.
16.
16-1 right now. Now, he's at 6 interceptions, so on pace for 12. It's tough to get picks in this league, but, bro, Trayvon Diggs last year in a 9-week span got 7. So I don't think it's too far out of the realm of possibilities. The Cowboys were also kicking the shit out of teams in those games for Trayvon Diggs to even have the opportunity to get those picks. It's a fun person to sprinkle some on. I also had another one, bro. I'm in love with Sexy Dexy. I think he is one of the best defensive tackles that the league has seen in a while. I mean, I put him up there in the same classification as Chris Jones and Aaron Donald, like real solidified game wreckers. On pace for 18 sacks this year. The only shitty thing is, Nick, as I was making his case, and he's at 12-1 right now, Defensive Player of the Year and most awards never go to a team below 500. And that's the knock. I mean, I tried looking as deep as I could, but it really doesn't happen. You're not going to win an award if your team is below 500.
Yeah, it's very difficult, man. He's actually getting the sacks this year too, which is really helping. I think he's the only guy in the Giants that I wouldn't trade, but he's also probably the only guy in the Giants who you get something for.
He's worth
if
something,
you do,
bro.
If you do trade.
Yeah.
I like both of those. I feel like I might get you excited with my pick.
Oh shit.
There hasn't been a player to win Defensive Player of the Year from his position since Luke Kuechly.
Wow. Warner.
Anytime who?
Fred Warner?
Fred Warner. Anytime you watch the Niners, he's within 3 yards of the ball. And he just, and you know, the Niners play a lot of primetime games, factors into what we talk about, primetime factor. Yo, don't it seem like he make a game-changing play every time you watch them?
Yes.
Warner with the strip. Warner interception. You're like,
Warner punches it out.
yeah,
Warner
punched
pass
it out. Look
deflection.
at that. The Peanut Tillman.
Yeah.
He's perfected it. 25-1. The unanimous best player at his position. It's the only position on defense that there is no argument who the best player is. You ask everyone who's the best linebacker in football, that's the answer. Defensive end, you have your Myles Garrett's, you have your Nick Bosa's, you got your TJ Watts, Aiden Hutchinson. I know he's hurt, but there's a lot more people in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best linebacker in football? Fred Warner.
Yep.
Corner, you can make cases. Is it Sauce? Is it Patrick Surtain? He's the only one. And, bro, like, I've been staring at 25-1. I'm like, man, that's a mistake, bro. That's a mistake. You talk about a winning team, like, they're about to get on a run, too. They do this shit every year. They get McCaffrey back this week. I think Fred Warner, 25-1, it's been wagered.
Yeah, and I like that one for the sole reason of there's less things that you need to go right. For Kirby Joseph to hit, I need the Lions to be winning big every single game, and I need quarterbacks to make errors. For Fred Warner to win it, he literally just has to keep playing the way that he's playing, and the 49ers now need to win games. That's the only reason why that's at 25-1. That's a great number.
Yeah, it just jumped out to me, man. It jumped out to me. That's the one that I will bet on, but I agree with you. The guy that should win it, and the fact that he's only won one, is TJ Watt. TJ Watt is clearly the best offensive player in the league. But if you want to gamble, I just think it's similar to Puka. Remember Puka last year? It didn't even cross my mind until I looked up the odds. I was like, bro, 30-1? That's a terrible price. That's a good price if you're betting on it, but it's not where he should be. I think he should be in the teens. I think you're getting like double the number of what you should for Fred Warner. So yeah, I've already, nothing crazy, like $50. I think I threw $50 on it. It's nice. Yeah. $1,200 return if it does hit. And
Fun
also
player
now
to
we'll be invested in them. Okay, last one, because I'll be honest with you, bro. The rookies of the year, I think they're pretty much wrapped up.
Yes, they are. They are 100%.
I think it's Daniels and the dude that you got a crush on that you love.
Jared Verse
Jared
for the Rams.
Yeah. I think it's them two. Unless they get hurt. I think it was around this time last year we were like, yeah, it's CJ Stroud. He was a top 5 candidate for MVP. How's he not offensive rookie of the year?
Yep.
So I think it's them too. I want to skip over that. I think there's a compelling case to be made for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I definitely have one that I would.
You felt passionate about this one. I would like to ask you, who's your Coach of the Year?
Andy Reid. Andy Reid at plus 650, Nick. Here's the thing. Just like you were making the case earlier for Justin Jefferson saying Sam Darnold's an MVP candidate. Hey, I'm undefeated and Patrick Mahomes is playing the worst he's ever played. Give me the award. It's a different thing if Patrick Mahomes is setting records and they're just loaded, right? Like this year, legitimately, the Chiefs, people are looking at them like, how are they in this spot? Like they should be performing way better than what they are, but they're undefeated. So you're stunned, right? He's only won this award once in 2002. And for such a historic coach, a coach that will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, you would expect him to have more than just one. Why not give him another one the year he goes undefeated? Because I really do think, Nick, there's a couple of games that obviously, you're worried about the Bills, and there's one other game that is on that schedule that you're worried about. But if he goes undefeated, you have to give that award to the undefeated coach, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I feel like you gotta give him the award if they go like 15-2 and they're the best team in the league, like record wise.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? They were plus 600 to have the top record in the NFL. What the fuck, bro? What are we doing?
Oh
you know what else is nuts too? The Lions were like 15-1. And I remember talking about the Lions because of how many indoor games they had, and they kind of checked the boxes. I'm almost certain Jared had agreed with us on that one too when we had him on.
Yep.
This was like in the summer before
Yeah.
the preview show.
I remember.
And bro, fuck, man. And now both of them are, one is 7-1, the other one's undefeated.
The two tops of the conferences.
Fuck. Jeremiah has a 45-1 on that to be the Super Bowl because he told us about round robin, the top 4
Yep.
favorites in the NFC versus the Chiefs. You're at least going to get Kansas City in the AFC title game because that's all we know with Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
Dude, sometimes it's so obvious and you try to get cute with like Jets and Packers 200-1 because it's the Aaron Rodgers Bowl. And
Yeah.
fuck, man, that one upset me. Can I read you some coaches that have won Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
Jason Garrett,
Crazy.
Matt Nagy,
Ugh.
Brian Daboll,
Trash.
Mike Smith,
Super trash.
Bruce Arians.
Big trash.
Did I say Ron Rivera?
Not now. Riverboat Ron. You should have said Riverboat Ron because
Riverboat
that's
Ron.
the one that won the award.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera in his second half,
Yeah.
not a good coach.
Marvin Lewis, who there gotta be a 30 for 30 coming out that this dude had like blackmail and sex tapes of the owner because that guy,
He never lost that.
bro,
job.
he was the coach like 9 years past when he should have been the coach.
I thought he was still coaching.
Of the Cincinnati.
he
Yeah.
was still coaching.
No, I think he was a coach in the Super Bowl. That's how long he's been there. Yeah, you're right, man. Back in 2002, he was coach of the year with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
The last couple of coaches, Kevin Stefanski, Brian Daboll, Mike Vrabel, Kevin Stefanski, John Harbaugh,
It's
Matt
been a
Nagy.
pity award.
Well, it's always a pity award because it's you sucked last year and now you get the new coach bump. You change the culture, which brings me to
Yeah.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn, he was my preseason pick for 20-1 to be coach of the year because he checked the boxes. Can this team overachieve from the year before? If Daniels did hit, which was the biggest handicap, like I felt like the Commanders, I didn't see this, but we do see worst to first happen all the time. And I felt like the Commanders, if Daniels could be him, maybe this team could win the division, make the playoffs, and then it would help Dan Quinn. So my take was, the best odds you could get, not plus 900 for them to win the division, not plus 500 from him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. What about 20-1 for Dan Quinn to win Coach of the Year? So that was the logic behind that one. And like, bro, look, they're 7-2. It's their best start since 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. They rank top 3rd in the NFL in both offense and defensive metrics.
Whoa.
So And also just like the culture has changed in a year. New ownership, new head coach, new GM. Trifecta. If your owner sucks, your front office is going to suck, your coach is going to suck, your quarterback's going to suck. The worst thing you could do is have a owner that has the coach, and then he hires a GM who inherits a quarterback and a coach, and then it's just a fucking weird-ass crossword puzzle you're trying to figure out, where Washington was like, yo, clean sweep, new ownership, new across the board, and now look at them.
Yep. You look at teams that do the halfway switches, and it never works, Nick. It's because they all start getting into the, well, he was here when I got here. He wasn't my first choice.
And what happens is what happens now with the Giants. Perfect example, staying in the division. They hire a new GM and a new head coach. They inherit a quarterback. Those guys are not going to get fired because they're going to be like, yo, we got to let go of Daniel Jones. We didn't really want him.
Right.
We didn't. Let us draft the guy that we want. Let us, show you what we could do.
Yep.
And then that's what happens. And now they buy more time, even though they might not be the answer. And before you know it, you're setting yourself back more and more. The Giants are 4 years away from us being like, yo, they're a year away from making it. So they're like 5 years away. Because it's Dexter Lawrence is the only guy you could probably get a first-round pick for.
Yeah.
The team is not good. So that's why I like what Dan Quinn and the Commanders have done. So shout out to him. Shout out to me. I mean, bro, shout out to me.
Big shout out to you.
20-1. I love it. I love it. Before we get to our Week 10 picks, I'm going to give you a do-over. But mostly because I want a do-over. It's more so I need a do-over for what my Super Bowl pick was. Halfway through the year, give me who's playing in February in the Super Bowl. If you had to pick right now from what you've seen, everyone's played 9 games. Or 8 games with
at the beginning of the year, I said exactly what we had talked about with Jeremiah saying Chiefs versus the top 4 in the NFC. That was my legitimate answer on the preview show, which I really regret, by the way. I'm mad that I didn't choose like a legit matchup. But now it's solidified. I think it is going to be the Bills versus the Lions, which, I mean, talk about a tough, gritty Super Bowl matchup. There's not there is flash elements to both of those teams, but it just shouts like a 10-7 Super Bowl to me. Like, even though both of those teams are high offensive powered, for some reason that day, the nerves will get to them. The defenses will finally show up. It happens every Super Bowl. I got Bills versus Lions, which when I checked this last week, it was at 28-1 for this to be the exacta.
Whoa,
which I found interesting.
You're gonna get upset.
It's lower now.
15-1.
I'm not upset. I just know.
No, it helps your case, but I'm saying,
yeah.
You know, when you go to bet this now, you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
that's double the price.
I mean, yeah. These Super Bowl exactas, I love. There's tons of options in the NFC you can go with. Like, to me, like, I love the Lions, Nick. You know how much I love the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions are still the fucking Lions. Okay? And you got to look. If you're not watching this podcast, what are you doing? Go to YouTube, watch it. Look at my eyes. The Lions are still the Lions. NFC title game, the Lions are still the Lions. Cultures change. They don't change that much. And that's a big jump for the Lions.
Sure.
Back-to-back winning seasons. Back-to-back years where you were hopeful that this can be it. You're still the Lions. Some weak-ass fucking team. Maybe it's the Commanders. Maybe it's the Commanders that run Rec Shop in the NFC and make it to the Super Bowl. What's your do-over?
So my original Super Bowl pick was the Jets and the Packers. That was 100-1 when I gave it out. Now, that one is 550-1.
Jesus Christ.
So $1 won you $100. Now $1 wins you $550.
That's
so
insane.
the odds are not in my favor. I have a couple. I'm gonna give you the one that I really like, and then I'm gonna give you some if you want to gamble. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you? All right. Philadelphia versus Kansas City.
Love it. Rematch.
15-1. It's a rematch. AJ Brown's injury is not significant. He'll be back. The schedule shapes up well for Philly. I think Jalen Hurts MVP. I was talking about it with Jeremiah and Isaiah when we were at the Concord event here at the Win over the weekend. I was like, man, their schedule, like, he plays bottom 8 pass defenses over the next couple of weeks. We know he's going to score on the ground because we have fucking Barkley, so he's going to push his ass into the fucking end zone every week. So you have that. Kansas City, we know they're going to be in the conference championship game anyway because that's all they know. I'm like, yo, Philly still has a chance at the top seed, right? Like, they're in contention for the division. They're playing the Cowboys this week with no Dak Prescott. And I kind of like how Philly's coming together. You know what they call their secondary?
Oh, wow.
It's hilarious.
Vanilla ice cream?
No, they call them the Ku Klux Clamps. And it's Blankenship and Cooper DeShawn.
Where did you see this?
On Twitter, bro. It's all over like
So it's
NFL Twitter. It's like a nickname that they have. I'm sure the broadcast isn't calling them that.
They need to. Can you imagine Tom Brady?
They won't, yeah. Well, he might slip up. You never know with him, but I'm just saying, like, that's a crazy.
Say that
that's
one
a
more
crazy
time, Nick.
Ku Klux Clamps. It's Blankenship and Cooper DeJean.
I need whoever created that name.
Bro, it's hilarious.
We need to get them on the
It's so
show.
funny. And like, we were talking about it with Jory before. How didn't you say there's like a white defensive back in college or something coming out?
No, I told you there's one that played for Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas, yeah. And I'm like, let's not get crazy, bro. Listen, we have 2 white corners in the league. This isn't like the floodgates open up. Listen, if you're a white guy, you're not playing corner. You play safety, maybe. Safety, you can get away with safety. John Lynch, Jason Sehorn.
Right?
You know, like, you got a couple nice white guys playing. Adam Archuleta, a little throwback for everybody.
Oh, shit.
You got some good white dudes. Safeties, though.
Yeah.
You're running 4.7, 4.8. You're not running 4.2, 4. You can't play. You can't do it. Let's not get crazy, all right? White guys, listen. It's dope that we have a dope white wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. He's back. The best running back in the league is a white guy. Let's not get crazy. Stick to being offensive linemen, high motor guys, good footwork.
Hey, first
man in, last one out.
Last one out.
Let's not get crazy with all these fucking DBs coming into the league as white dudes. But I do like the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Insane. I'm going to be telling everybody that.
I gotta find the tweet so I can send it to you.
Oh
so
my
we can put
God!
it up on
Instagram.
Yo,
We'll put it on the story.
It's so funny. That's the one that, like, if I wanted to give an actual prediction as far as this is the one that I'm banking on. Gambling aside, I like that one. It's 15-1. A couple other ones, if you do like to gamble, any combination of like Bengals Lions is 70-1. Bengals Eagles is 110-1.
Yeah, you're. No. I get you. With the whole Bengals play. But I mean, like, even if you're just going with the people that we say are the top 6 Super Bowl contenders, like, you can find some good odds here. I always would rather play the Super Bowl exacta as opposed to just picking one team to win it at the end.
So piggybacking off that, I would say you should, if you do that, I would take who you think is the underdog in the Super Bowl, take them to win it in the exacta. So who would be the underdog in Eagles Chiefs?
Eagles.
Bet Eagles to beat the Chiefs. So then if that is your Super Bowl, you haven't won any money yet.
Right.
Then you could bet.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like
Fill in both sides.
Yeah, to have it covered.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, it would be you would bet Chiefs to beat the Eagles and then bet the Eagles in the Super Bowl to win it.
Correct.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Then the Eagles would be the underdog.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's ways that you can make money. And, you know, as I'm scrolling right now, Bills Eagles is 30-1. I might. Yo, Bills Eagles, Chiefs Eagles. Kind of interested. It gives me a little tingle, you know?
The NFC, Nick, they're going to beat up on each other, bro.
Yeah.
They are going to beat up on each other really, really, really bad here. Like, the Lions got so many divisional games to close out the year here. And heading into playoffs, that's the last thing that you want. So, I'm going to Let me see. Is there any other AFC teams that we really say? I mean, we've said Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. And
Ravens, Lions is 11-1.
Nobody from the AFC South.
No one from the South.
No one from the West.
Oh, the Chiefs. Well,
Yeah.
outside of the Chiefs. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. These are some, you can get some good odds, man. You could get some really good fucking odds on this one. You know, if you're buying stock on like we said before, if you're buying stock on a Bengals or a Jets, you get some crazy numbers on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could hedge out. You know, you could hedge out in certain scenarios and make a lot of money. Like, dude, Bengals and Lions, like I said, 60-1. Sorry, 70-1. 70-1. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on the Discord. What is the Super Bowl matchup that you guys think is going to happen through 9 weeks? George, week 10 picks.
Yes.
But before we do, Patreon time.
Roll call.
Shout out to the following names: Daniel Gibson, Mahul Patel, Abel Rezin, Ben Kotzian, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Plates, Devin Rendon, Dylan Chadwick, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens, Nick Crummich, and Thomas Robinson. Thank you all for your contributions. We're at 78 members of the Patreon.
We're climbing.
We're trying to get to 100 by the Super Bowl. And by the way, it should be like 1,000 by the Super Bowl. Because if you guys can't donate $1 American to us, 3 cents a day, what are we doing?
Come on now, people.
What the fuck are we doing? All right. So when you're watching this on the Instagram story, the link is going to be right around here, George, you think?
Click it.
Right there. Click that link, $1. Bro, what are we doing?
Come on now.
Patreon.com/veterans minimum. All right. Week 10 picks. We might have to breeze through these because of time restraints.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like we should breeze through these because...
Also, maybe if we breeze through them, we go 5-0.
That's what I was thinking.
Because we're doing like 30-minute breakdowns and we got fucking stretched out last week.
We're getting the TikTok comments on Ross. You know these fucking so-called gurus went 0-3? Fuck you, buddy. All right. We all have bad weeks.
Yeah, we gotta do something about this one.
This week, though, there's some favorable matchups.
Yeah.
There's definitely some favorable matchups. Can I start with my Adriana?
Sure. You can start with Adriana. Talk to me.
Nick, I love the Steelers. I really do. And I love the Steelers even more after a bye. You got Mike Tomlin, who has not lost after a bye since 2017. Playing the Commanders as an underdog, getting 3 points. TJ Watt, we talked about him, Defensive Player of the Year to start it. I don't just like this play. I love this play. Adriana, Steelers, +3 for me. Que sabroso.
Okay. They just got a couple of players on their team. They got Mike Williams. They got Preston Smith. We didn't really talk much about the trade deadline. But I think, those guys could contribute right away going to a team that is pretty good this year. You know, they've been overachieving based on what the expectations were. Mm-hmm. So your Adriana was the Steelers. My Adriana... It is going to be very ugly. Could borderline be Ursulita. But I...
Hit me with it.
San Francisco 49ers, -6. They were the Monday winner. They're on the road. I'm a little nervous about road favorites just because they've been crushing this year.
Right.
And I feel like there might be a swing in the other direction. But they get McCaffrey back. I think the Bucks playing a close game, going into overtime, losing that. Now short week. Niners coming off a bye. We read the trends on Monday, right? Todd Bowles playing teams off a bye, 0-5 against the spread. Teams coming off a bye this late, post week 9 and on, covering 70% as road favorites against the spread.
Jesus Christ.
And this is where we see the Niners get hot, bro. They bang out like an 8 out of 9. You know, they go 8-1, 7-2. And now they're going to get McCaffrey back. They're getting guys healthier. Ricky Pearsall is going to be more acclimated with the offense. So my Adriana is the Niners -6.
You're bound to see the graphic this weekend of the way that they've started like the past 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That's like their
100%.
their favorite thing to do. Christian McCaffrey is going to look so much faster than everybody else out there. I love when a player comes in fresh, middle of the season. Nothing better than it. My brother, his guard that plays next to him didn't play like the first 7 games of the season. The way that this kid is just like going to pick up the running back every time, like 20 yards downfield. It's just a different type of energy. You love to see it. That's going to hit. Nick, there's one game, and I had it as my Monday winner, and I have to jump to it now for In This Economy.
Okay.
Patriots money line. +240. They're playing against the Chicago Bears. Okay. I equate the Patriots this year to the Cardinals last year. Not a good team, nowhere near a good team, but boy, do they cover the fucking spread. Drake May did it last week with his end-of-game heroics. I think this week, why not take advantage of the team that literally is quit everything on TikTok, Twitter, showing DJ Moore walking off the field halfway through one of the plays. Then you got the defense not playing defense to end the second half. I am surprised that the number was 6. I know I'm saying that they've been covering the spread, so definitely take them with the points if you want to win this week. But in this economy, to get them at +240 against a team that's quit, ever since their head coach called them soft, they have played tougher. That's a sign of a good team in my eyes. I like the Patriots this week.
Okay. In this economy?
I like that economy.
I like that one.
I had to go money line for in this economy. You know, I'm trying to get people out the hood.
I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos +9 in this economy, playing the Chiefs.
Ooh,
Coming off a blowout. We've said this many times, and we'll continue to say it. We don't like Mahomes when he's more than a 6-point favorite. We love him when he's under a field goal or an underdog, and the stats just back it. I think it's a good matchup for their defense going up against the Chiefs. They've played them tight in the past, and now I think you have some expectations with Denver. You know, they're above 500. I just trust Sean Payton. He is 81-59 against the spread on the road in his coaching career. He's 56-38-2 as an underdog, and we just know how their defense always shows up. Even last week, I went back and I was watching some of it because, like, obviously I'm monitoring the Derrick Henry stuff. So I went back and I watched that game on NFL Game Pass, kind of. Mm-hmm. But Bo Nix missed like 2 receivers in the end zone, and those are 14-point swings right there. And it's
not only 14 points.
They should have covered.
Nick, 14 points at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
That game never gets out of hand.
Yep.
It's a shootout till the end. Those 2 touchdowns that he missed. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Bo. Sean Payton, Sean Payton's one of them coaches that will spank your ass after a game. Like, I bet Sean Payton called him into the office, bent him over, desk. Never going to miss that again.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare miss that again, you motherfucker.
Yo, so check this out also. Overtime has an impact, especially this year. The Rams, Titans, Bucks, Chiefs, and Patriots all coming off overtime games last week and are playing on 8 days rest or less. Those teams are 108-136 against the spread, 43% over the last decade, and they are under 500 against the spread in the last 3 seasons.
Wow.
So it's a significant trend, and it's in division. It's in division too. So in this economy, I think +9 for the Broncos. I'm in on that one. Ursulita is going to get us right this week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who you got?
Who the fuck are the New York Giants to be 6.5-point favorites over anyone?
God, bro, I was
what are we doing?
Like,
what are we doing? Let's not get crazy. First of all, the game's in Germany, like we've said.
Yeah.
Insane. They shouldn't be 6.5-point, a touchdown favorite over anyone. I don't care if that game is played in MetLife. I don't care if it's played in Old Giant Stadium. There is no way I am taking the New York Giants as 6.5-point favorites. My Ursulita is the Panthers +6.5. It's dog or pass. It's a game overseas. The New York Giants streak of being underdogs ends at 24 games. Now, you know who has the longest streak? The Panthers. They've been underdogs in 30 straight games.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's no way I could take it. And I don't care if the favorite has a better record overseas. They're 22-12 against the spread. No. This is the Giants we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's no way I would bet the Giants in this spot.
No, it's a complete Ursulita game. I'm so glad you said it. There's that was why I fucking snapped my fingers, bro. They're Ursula first, both. That's just, it's not a good game. Will be fun to wake up and see that at what will it be? Do you think it'll be a shootout, or do you think it's a low scoring dog shit game?
This game is either 7-3 with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's one of those weird, like, remember the Packers and Panthers played last year and it was a shootout? Like, it was like 32-28.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or the other. It's two extremes either way. There's no 21-17 game.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Trust me, and I'm only saying this because they were my Monday winner.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going with Bengals plus 6.5.
Okay, I was gonna see if we were best friends. I was gonna do the 3, 2, 1.
What were you gonna say?
Bills minus 3.5. They're road favorites versus the Colts. I told you, I just want to pick good fucking teams from here on out. And I know I picked the Patriots earlier.
Yeah.
This one, trust me, Bills. How are they only 3.5 point favorites? The Colts ain't that good.
No, they're not.
They ain't that good. They can't score. Like, I don't understand where this 3.5 is coming from.
Yeah.
What are we missing? Is there an injury? I have to look deeper into this. There cannot be. What? They're playing indoors, so it's not. The rain doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Does Josh Allen have a cold?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one. That just feels very sketchy.
89% of the public bets are coming in on it. 84% of the money is coming in on the Bills, as it should.
Yeah.
How has that not made this line move in the other direction? Like, it's maybe because, Nick, the Colts are 5-0 and covering the spread in their last 5.
Mm-hmm. Could be. Just a weird one. I probably would pass. I'm a little worried about that one. Can I give you my toxic one?
Yeah.
Eagles minus 7.5. They're playing the Dallas Cowboys. No Dak Prescott. One of the all-time GOAT calls I had was when Dak got hurt a couple years ago and Cooper Rush came in, and the line went from Dallas being a 3-point favorite against the Bengals to a 7-point underdog. I was like, why? Cooper Rush played the year before and he won 4 games in a row. We've actually seen the backup come in. You know, a lot of times what happens is obviously public perception plays into the betting line, but you'll see it like, oh my God, Justin Jefferson is out. I can't bet the Vikings. You're like, well, the line didn't move. Or in other cases, like quarterbacks, obviously the quarterback, it moves the most, but the quarterback gets ruled out and the line adjusts 7 points when we've seen Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
So now if CeeDee Lamb is out, I feel a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
But they're at home. They're 0-4 at home. Oh, they've lost their last 4 games. Check this out. At halftime, 27-3 to the Lions, 21-6 to the Ravens, 35-16 to the Saints. Oh, and the playoff game was 27-7 to the Packers.
Wow.
Now they're playing at home. If they're like winning at halftime, the place is going to be going ape shit. Yo, fuck Dak Prescott. Fuck this. Let's go with Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
I think Rush as a backup is an amazing backup to come in for a couple weeks. Also, check this out. 5-1 against the number. 7.5 point underdogs at home. The toxic one is the Eagles, which means we're playing the Dallas Cowboys as home underdogs. Love it. Also going to be in a money line. Things a little money line.
Put it in with the Patriots and go with the hungry dog.
Yeah.
Hungry dog parlay there.
Hungry dog parlay. You want to get nuts and throw the Broncos in? No, it's like
no. You're fucking going.
Now
easy,
we're going,
bro. Now when Andy Reid's about to win Coach of the Year, dude. Andy Reid hasn't lost since last December.
Yeah,
that's insane. He's gonna go a full year without having a loss. I have 2 toxic ones. I only had one at the beginning, and then I saw this one, and I was like, oh shit, how can you not throw it in there? I've been following the Saints a lot. Like a lot this week with the Rizzler coming in as a coach. They're changing up a lot of things. They moved their offense and their defense wherever they're practicing. They changed the sides of the field. He is changing the culture, which has not happened apparently in the Saints organization in 20 years. Be very, very careful with the Falcons -3.5 coming into New Orleans. They are a road favorite that you should steer very, very far away from. The Saints have a great roster. Who knows with a little extra motivation what is possible. I really like the Saints this week as a dog. That would be another one that we could throw into that hungry dog parlay. But aside from that, there's something about the Cardinals this year that it's really good. The Jets are starting to make us feel like, okay, they're starting to figure it out. Is this
You know what they're doing? They're reeling us in.
They're reeling us in. The Jets are at +1 right now as a dog against the Cardinals. It would not shock me at halftime to see this game Cardinals 28-7. Right? Like and with no chance ever of the Jets coming back. That's the one to stay away from, as well as the Falcons. Toxic. I think that's it, Nick.
I love the Saints pick. I really like the Saints pick a lot. Falcons fans are starting to feel themselves. Falcons Saints is like a bloodbath.
Oh, it's a rivalry.
It's a huge rivalry. Shout out to Alan Sturck. He covers the Falcons. He would always tell me, like, dude, this is a real thing,
this
man.
week is for sure afraid. Before Dennis Allen got fired, Allen was chilling.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen gets fired. Now Allen's got extra nights watching film.
You're a little nervous about that.
He is.
Yo, can I give you a anytime touchdown parlay?
Oh,
I think you're gonna love this.
okay.
I think you're really gonna love this.
Taysom Hill.
No, but we're gonna go with the new wide receiver parlay.
Oh, the welcome to town parlay.
Yeah.
That's what we could call it. We could title this one.
So there's 4 guys.
Okay.
I mean, some of them have been with the team already,
Right.
but we go Devontae Adams,
Yep.
Amari Cooper,
Yep.
Mike Williams,
Yep.
D-Hop,
Love it.
50-1.
Book it.
50-1.
Welcome home. Welcome to your new home.
This one's nice. This one
I
is
like
very
the
nice.
receiver one. You get way better odds with receivers. Like a receiver only one.
Yeah.
As soon as you toss a running back in there, fucking sucks.
Yeah,
And then they don't hand it to the running back.
And then
anyways.
I'll tell you this,
Even
Christian McCaffrey, every game he's come back off injury, has scored a touchdown. But he's also -300 to score a touchdown. So ladder, we'll see MC. Like,
it's
anytime
almost bet like
Yo,
when you see a number like that, it's worth it to bet the no.
every time, yes. Or what I do is if someone is -300 to score 1 touchdown, I just bet him to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And if he scores 1, so be it. But Barkley last week, -220 to score 1 touchdown, to score 2 touchdowns plus 300. Take the chance. He scores 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I would approach it
Yeah.
with anything. Like if someone's so favored to do one thing, do the latter. That's how you could get some better odds. So yeah, man. Week 10 in the books.
That's it.
Let us know how you feel about the picks. Let us know your Super Bowl matchups. Let us know how you guys are feeling. Next week, we're going to announce the winner of the October Patreon, the Maurice Claret helmet. We'll do the live selection here. We'll get a hat.
We should do it on Instagram Live.
Throw the names on it. Okay, we'll do it on IG Live. So we'll do it on IG Live. That would be Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. We'll do it.
Gotcha.
That's when we're in here recording. So
Yep.
Monday we'll do the live drawing on there. Then we'll announce it on here if you guys aren't watching on the Instagram Live, which is all things Veterans Minimum or at Veterans Minimum. And then next week we'll also announce what the winner of the November giveaway. Oh, not the winner. What we're gonna give away in November, and then we'll do that drawing next
Beautiful.
month. So all things Veterans Minimum at Veterans Minimum at Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. Rate, review, subscribe, share the content. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for the contributions to the Patreon. We're locking up some new sponsors, so we would love for you guys to support those as well. We're going to start rolling that out over the next couple of weeks. Shout out to everyone in the control room.
Big shout out to them.
Shout out to Havana Nights. Shout out to is it cool to go to Cuba? Like you're like able to go to Cuba now and shit?
I can. My dad needs paperwork.
But like, can I go to Cuba to visit?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
bro.
we're like good to go.
Southwest flies there.
Really?
Believe it or not. They don't fly there from the United States. It's like you fly from there to like Puerto Rico or some shit. Yeah.
You know, Abella Anderson.
One of my favorite stars.
I mean, one of the reasons why I like Spanish girls, Cuban. You know, A Street Latinas. Shout out to the 305. We'll be there very soon. Yeah. Before it gets off the rails, George, where can they find you?
You could find me on Calle Ocho. Fucking no.
Yeah.
At Mr. George Carmona is where you can find me. Pin and Pool podcast covering college football. So if you like college football, go check that out. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
You guys know the drill. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be